So it's actually super late right now, but I'm going to record this video anyways and hope that it turns out okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a new class that is a collisional box, like a wall, that our player cannot move through. So we go to New File, C++, and we will just call it wall. And it's the same old stuff. We're going to go into our player to make this easier and just copy that, paste it into our new one called wall. Inherits from entity. We'll get rid of all this crap. There's our constructor. I'm not sure if we need update. Go into player.cpp and we are going to copy some stuff. Delete that. We'll just comment out the player update. And here's our constructor. We'll just leave the sprite blank for now because we're just going to be using the rect. And we are going to set the size to be default of 100. Woo. How about 50 by 50? And the position can just start default of 0, 0. And we'll make it white. Okay, so we have our wall. And let's go to main. And we're going to create our vector array. Whoa. So this is a wall, and we're going to name it wall1 object. And so don't really need the sprite. We also need to include the header file, hashtag include wall.h. And we will go wall wall.rect.setPosition. This is for when we're customizing the position. And I forgot to make the actual iterator and array. So we're going to do that. So it's a vector iterator of type wall. And we're going to put this as iterator 15. Our arrays type wall, we're going to call it wall array. And we're going to push back wall1 into the wall array. And so we are now going to do our drawing function for the wall, and it's going to be drawn before everything else. So we can do it even before the pickup items. So we'll do draw wall, and we use iterator 15. And we go wall array, counter ++, and So we go window.draw wall array dot rect, boom, wall array counter dot rect. So that should be drawing the wall now, and we just pushed one back at 0, 0. So we should be seeing a size 50 by 50 wall at 0, 0 now. And we do. Sweet. Okay. Let's just move that wall over to 100, 100. And what we're going to do is we're going to set up collisions with the player. So we'll just walk through that. So we'll call this player collides with wall. And we're going to do if player one dot rect dot get global bounds dot intersects with wall array counter dot rect dot get global bounds, then it's going to, we actually hit the wall. So if the player one dot direction equals 1, which is actually up, then we are going to say that the player can no longer move up because the player was facing upwards and actually hit the wall while facing upwards. So we're going to disable the ability to move up. So we're going to go into our player header and we're going to say bool, how about can't move up. How about do can move up equals true, and we'll do the same thing for down. There might be a better way of doing this, but I just make shit up, so whatever. Okay, can move up. Go to our main, and we are going to say can player one dot can move up equals false. We're going to do that for the other ones too. So down is direction 2. So can move down. 3 left, right. 4 left, right. So if our player hits that specific wall while facing upwards, he will no longer be able to move up. And how we're going to implement that is by, I think it's in our player, where is it? Yeah, right here. So we're going to say if can move up equals true, then we will allow to move up. Can move Down equals true. Can move. Left equals true. Can move. Right equals true. So what we're going to do is inside. So if we can move up, then it's good. So I think this is how we're going to do it. Inside, we're going to set all of them equal to true. So let's see if this works. So if we keep running in this direction, it should stop us. So we can't actually move. I keep pressing the left arrow key. Now if we press the right, we should be able to move again. So it's actually... But the up and down isn't working. So why would that stop working? Let's see. So if we have intersected, maybe let's try an else if. Let's do an else with nothing in it. So if there's no collision, then let's try this. So that's kind of bizarre. Ooh, I think I know. It's because we are still collided with the box. So if we were to make our player sort of bounce back a little, then we'd be able to move up and down. But we also have to deal with this sideways thing happening too. So we can go up. So we want to move the dude, let's say 1. Trying to move it in the opposite way. So left, we want to move it right. That's funny. So it looks like that works. But there's a problem that if we hold two arrows down at the same time, we can still move through. So we might be able to fix that. But this actually works, so that's cool. So I think if we do, where is it? Our player.cpp. So if we say we'll make this in I know. We'll go if, else if, and then else. So now we should, I believe, only be able to do one of those at once. Yeah. So now we can't press two arrows at the same time. So this bounding collision always works. And if we wanted a more advanced system, we could think about how to implement it. But I'm not about to make those mental leaps at 5 in the morning. But that actually works. So that is pretty sweet. And I'm actually going to be including the source code like usual if you didn't catch everything I did, because I was sort of sporadic at times. And so we're colliding with a wall. So how about we create a counter that sort of pushes back walls, and we'll actually create a little room for ourselves, and we can maybe put some monsters in there or something for fun. We could do it manually and just like write, okay, I want to move it over like this, and I'll just show you that quickly. Like, keep pushing them back. As you can see. Or we could do something else. We could just create a counter and a loop. So let's make counter equals 0, and we'll go while counter is less than, let's say, 10, then increase the counter, and we're just gonna use this, stick it in there, and we'll call this create horizontal wall. And our little boxes are just going to be sort of building blocks. So this is horizontal, so we're going to be manipulating X. So, and it's by 50. So we write 50 times counter, and we want it to actually be at Y equals 100. So it's going to start down 100. And for each loop of the counter, it's going to start, so it's going to start at 0. It's going to start at 0. Counter is going to increase. So 1 times 50, it's going to be over. Counter increases over 100, and so on. So let's actually see that that worked, and we're just going to get rid of those things that we were pushed back. There we go. So we just created this long wall that kind of holds us in. So let's actually do the same thing, but we'll create a vertical wall. And what we're going to do is do the same thing, but with Y now, because it's vertical. So counter, and let's just see how that works out. So now we try and move, and we can't get past there. Sweet. So let's have this start at 0, this one at 0. All right. So if we wanted to create another wall, we could simply, actually we'll post it above. And let's say we wanted it to be moved down. So we're cycling through 50 times 10. I think that's 500. Yeah. So now we should create a horizontal wall that is at the bottom as well. Yep, cool. And we're going to do the same thing for the vertical wall. And it's going to be at 500 as well. So now we're stuck in this little room here. So let's make it one longer. So we'll go the second vertical. No, that should be 0. It doesn't really matter if we have one overlap on the corner. Let's say you wanted to add a door in here or a little opening. Let's do it on the second vertical wall. We could just say if counter equals 5, then actually we could do this. We could say if counter does not equal 5, then we execute our normal code. So it's going to skip making the fifth one in the second vertical wall. So now we have a little opening here. So if we wanted like a colonnade or something, we could just write or let's say 3. And we could do that for like multiple. I'm not sure what just happened. My brain's fried, so I'm not even going to try. But yeah, so that's how that works. What if we wanted to make this so that we just have a room that we could just lay down anywhere, and it was sort of customizable? We could probably just like copy this and set up some parameters at the beginning to go into here. So we could say int room size equals 10. Let's change the room size here. And we can add in this, we can call this a door location. Yeah, let's try that. So let's call int vertical door location. We can set that equal to, let's say, 3. And what if we want to make the room 6 big? I spell vertical. vertical door location. And so let's just take a look at what we just did. Let's cancel this one out temporarily. So we have our room size. Oh, I know what the problem. No. Let's just try. Okay, so we need to actually change this 500. So I believe it's 50 times the room size, and that was $50 times room size. Yeah. And then I think one more tweak and we'll be able to change the actual position of the room. So we'll just say int room start equals, let's start at 200, room start. So this is horizontal, so we'll call it room start X. No, that's room start Y. So I don't want to screw this up too bad, so I'm just going to save this just in case. So we have our horizontal, and we are starting at X. So we just need to add both to each. So we have room start X, room start Y, and we should just be able to add it to each one. So I believe this should work. It should load in at 200, 200 instead of 0. And it worked. Oh my God. It's amazing. So these little guys should be colliding with the walls as well. And I guess we could do that in another video because this one is so long, 28 minutes. But it's pretty amazing that we got this little custom room going. So let's try some other things with it. Let's make it into a 13 room with a vertical door location at 11. And we'll start it at 0, 0. So it actually worked. So we just created this room, and we could actually have like an algorithm that would be generating rooms procedurally through what we just designed. Like you could have random door locations for the horizontal walls as well as the vertical walls like we just had right here. We could also implement random objects within the rooms depending upon the room size, and I think that's what we might be doing in some subsequent videos. So we can just get rid of this thing, and we're going to name this custom room. So if we wanted to have a little fun, we could just comment this out and then paste a room, and then we could go generate random of 10, and we want the minimum room size to be 3, so let's go +3. And the vertical door location, we could say generate random, how about 4. And the room start, we could have generate random 200. And the room start Y, we could have generate random 200. And so now we're going to be generating sort of a random room, the size, and where the door is located. So it did it. So let's try it again. So keep generating the same thing. I think it spawned in a different spot. I think I know what the problem is. The problem is we need that the random number generator seed at the beginning of our project, and I think I'm going to include that in another video because I don't really want to go looking on the internet for it right now. But that the actual generate random does work. It's just not reseeding new random numbers. But this custom room should be working pretty good. So there we go. And if you tolerated this video with my sleep deprivation at 5 in the morning, give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more videos in the future.